Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Turtle War Season 3. Tonight we start the third round, and we will start to see the bracket take shape. If you go 3-0, probably going to make the top 32. You go 0-3, you're probably not. If you go 0-3 as a low-tier machine, you're definitely not. If you go 3-0 as a high-tier machine, you might be looking at a top seed. But tonight, what we're looking at is a main event between the Dutch flipper of Gravity, who sits at 2-0. A win here 100% guarantees them top 32. They're probably already in it, to be honest. But more importantly, a win here might guarantee them a top 8 seed. Tsunami, in the meantime, 0-2, the German machine. A very disappointing season out of them. What we're looking at for them is a statement win here to potentially save what has been a dreadful season for the team. Tonight's opening matchup, Heatwave versus Quality Control, the two newcomers who made it into the high tier. Quality Control, devastating weapon. It's had very two good showings against some veteran machines, right? Judge's decision loss to Shoku. Very destructive win over Badlands. It sits at 1-1. Heatwave, in the meantime, disappointing performances. It's a loss to Generic, maybe can be excused. It's lost to Medcart. Medcart's a very experienced bot. Quality Control is not. A loss here might end Heatwave's season, and it's been pretty disappointing so far. Let's see how it'll go. After that, we've got a match for 3-0. Synthetic has been pretty impressive, showcasing its grappling talents. It takes on Game Over, who's been just pretty solid as a vertical spinner. Pretty compact, pretty low to the ground, pretty powerful. Synthetic is incredibly low, just all around. It'll be interesting to see how Synthetic deals to a truly powerful spinner, though, because I don't think they've faced one yet. Maybe I should be checking that, actually, before I say something wrong again. But no spinners. After that, Creo sits at 2-0. Very likely 3-0 with this draw against Samurai. 0-2. Disappointing season for the former champs. But hey, one flip and it's a win over Creo. Creo win here, though. They might be looking at a top 8 seed, and that would be huge for the team. Trident sits at 2-0. They defeated Red Bull very easily. In the highlight fights for round 2, they take on Shuriken, who just beat Suffocate, another custom machine, a machine who Trident had beaten as well. So let's see. Shuriken wants to advance to 2-1 here. It would be a pretty good win over a pretty solid machine in Trident. We'll see how it goes. UFO 5 takes on Abel. Both these bots 1-1. Abel got a huge win over Wavelength in round 2. Absolutely huge. Even bigger, though, was UFO 5's win over Generic. They took down one of the top dogs and probably guaranteed themselves a slot in the playoffs. First round was a split decision loss to Extra Peppermint, who's a very good machine, right? And now here they sit, 1-1. That win over Generic it means so much. A win here, and I could see them in a top 8 seeding. After that, another low tier match to be unbeaten. Hulkbuster against Emerald, two very, very different machines. We've got, of course, a ring spinner design on Hulkbuster and the grappler design of Emerald. Both these machines have looked very, very good. This is the best Hulkbuster we've seen ever. In the pre-series, it's been absolutely stellar. In the meantime, Emerald has shown absolutely amazing control all season so far. And they're looking to continue it. They're kind of a spinner killer, so I think they can pull it off. But I was yapped for way too much. So let's get into Heatwave versus Quality Control. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Turtle Wars' third season. Tonight, we begin the third round. By the end of the episode, we're probably going to have some machines that simply cannot make the playoffs anymore, and some that are more or less guaranteed. Opening it up, we might have one of the first. Heatwave sits currently at 0-2. Not the most impressive losses either. A loss here to Quality Control would be rough. These are the two newcomer machines that got put into the high tier because of very impressive qualifier performances. Heatwave has not impressed. Yes, Generic's a tough bot to beat, but Medcart really isn't. In the meantime, Quality Control have looked very solid in both of their matches, surviving to a judge's decision with a couple of okay shots against Sochoku. He had shown some potential despite the one-sided loss before getting a fantastic win over Badlands. Quality Control has looked the more impressive, but the expectation was that Heatwave would be the more impressive, so maybe Heatwave can redeem themselves here. 3, 2, 1, activate, and Heatwave getting up to speed, nice and early. Quality Control trying to land hits with their drum, but not able to, not being allowed to, because Heatwave getting up to speed here. And the big break that is Quality Control is getting spun around and whacked about. Quality Control just spinning around, not able to do much here. And a huge hit. And another one. Heatwave now flipping over Quality Control. That's a huge thing to do because Quality Control, known for its struggle self-riding, but that was nice and clean. No struggle with that one. Both of these bots yet to get a really huge damaging shot. Quality Control kind of not getting a huge shot yet. That's another great one from Heatwave because Quality Control struggling to self-ride, but they do get back up. That's a decent hit, actually, from Quality Control to return. Some big shots. Oh, from Heatwave especially, though. These two rookie bots are both spectacular firepower-wise. That's why they got put up here, was because of very impressive showings in the qualifiers, using their very, very solid weaponry. Heatwave especially was the one we hyped up, being super destructive in its qualifying match, decimated Cobra, a former champion, the only former champion that's still competing, that did not qualify for this season. Unless you want to count Viper because of the team, but that's stretching it. Quality Control just struggling to do much of anything here against Heatwave. Just getting bashed about. A huge hit there from Heatwave yet again. Quality Control, though, credit to it. It's surviving. And the Dutchman is... yeah, there you go. We all love the Dutchman. Stan Dutchman. Best house robot ever made, for sure. Huge shot, though. And another one! Oh my goodness. Quality Control is getting sent spiraling now. That is going to be tough if that keeps happening, because those are some huge hits, and too many of those are going to be the unraveling of your bot. Trying to get towards that back now. Quality Control able to pin their opponent. This match is going to the judges, actually. No time left. Cease. And we go to the judges. These two rookies gave us a very nice fight. I'm not entirely sure who's going to win. I do have my my favorite here in Heatwave, but close match. Fantastic showing from both these rookies. I don't know who wins. I really don't. We'll be back with the decision. Well, here we are back with the judges' decision. This one really went down to the wire, without question. But one machine, of course, had to win. So the winner, by a 5-4 split decision, as close as it gets, it's Heatwave! Huge win from Heatwave there. Quality Control. An unfortunate loss, really. Not much more you can say about it. Big victory out of Heatwave. They're saving their season 1 and 2. They can still bounce back. Quality Control, they now fall to 1 and 2. That's disappointing. But again, it's a good match from them. It's a solid showing. They're still probably in the running. A win would be great, even if they go 1-3, though. I could see a world where they still make the playoffs, so I would not count them out. But it's time to go on to our next match. Here we are back again for the second fight of the night. Two low-tier machines that are undefeated. 2-0, both of these bots. Synthetic bested Claw Viper last time around. I believe it... Did it take the full 3 minutes? I think it did. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it did, though. An 8-1 decision. Pretty one-sided. And they got the KO over Iron 4 in their opening match. In the meantime, Game Over took out Levitation and... Who was the other one? I'm blanking. I don't remember. It was a horizontal spinner, I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember which one. Oh, Distraught. That's who it was. Both these bots, some very solid wins. A win here is probably, in theory, going to be enough to guarantee a playoff spot. It would be really tragic if it wasn't. Both these bots have looked very impressive in their matches, so a win would probably be enough. Gotta give them credit. But let's see. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Now, both these bots, of course, haven't suffered a loss yet. As we said, they've looked very impressive. Synthetic trying to get that big old scoop wedge into play. Unable to, though. Trying to get underneath. Fighting to get underneath. Getting the lift in. That is huge. Toppling over Game Over, but he just self-rights immediately. Not too much you can do to that if you're Synthetic, unfortunately. But they are just low enough where the weapon of Game Over not really coming into play, and they topple him over again. That is big. Onto its head. Can Game Over get back up? It's struggling. The count surely starting. 10, 9, 8. But they're back. They survived the count. Just about able to get back up. And now shoved into the corner patrol zone. That's some great control from Synthetic. They have been on top all match. I don't think we've seen Game Over hit a shot yet. Which, you know, that's a bit disappointing. But Game Over, they do survive. Huge grab now, lifting it up. Lifting it up for the camera. Look at that, Synthetic. They've just picked up Game Over, and they are parading him around the arena. This is a victory. Game Over trying now to get under, and they do. They do get under, and they've broken a piece off of Synthetic. The first time they managed to get an attack all match, and they are chewing away now. Synthetic, they lose one of their wedges, one of those side anti-horizontal kind of slanted wedges. But they're back underneath again. It hasn't affected them enough. Or maybe it has, because that is the wedge. But look who's on top of it. It's Game Over. Game Over trapped on top of the wedge that is just snapped off of Synthetic, and they can't get off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cease. And that is it. Game Over. They fall. Synthetic a shock 3-0. If I can say so, I would not have expected them to win this match. I didn't expect them to beat Iron 4. They should be 1-2 right now if we were going by my predictions, but they're not. They are 3-0 with the KO wins over the bots that I did not expect them to beat. This is impressive, and this is surely a top 32 machine now. It's going to be tough to argue against that. Here we go, third fight of the night. This one may be the first 100% guaranteed top 32 machine. Synthetic is very, very likely, now that they're 3-0. If they manage to go 4-0, that would be fantastic for them, really. But at the moment, that's not what matters. What matters is Creo, sitting at 2-0 at the moment. A bit of a boring victory, albeit dominant, over OOTA, and another win over Apollo. This machine, no Shremek has not stopped it from beating 2 flippers already, but it now faces Samurai, a 3rd flipper. This one, 0-2. Every machine Creo has faced, no wins. OOTA, 0-2. Apollo, 0-2. Samurai, 0-2. They win this, Samurai is 0-3. That's not exactly a strong strength of schedule. But hey, if you're 3-0 in the high tier, you're clearly doing something right, and it would probably be guaranteeing you the playoffs. That said, how high of a seed you get is going to be another debate. 3, 2, 1, activate. Haven't switched the house robots yet because lazy. Oh, that was underneath. That was underneath for a second there. That fight, it could have been done like that. Creo's undefeated season, it could have been over just that quickly. Slamming Samurai about back into the Dutchman's corner control zone. That, oh, it was so close. Samurai not quick enough on the trigger though. Creo was. They backed away and Samurai fired the weapon. And Creo is just pushing about Samurai. Using so much speed, and now Samurai forced to try and self-right. Former champs flopping about and stuck on the flipper. They try to self-right, they land with the flipper partially open, and they are trapped, looking like a triangle. The same triangle that is on their flipper. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cease. Creo, 3-0, 3 flippers bested. That is insane to think about. Creo. I feel like their win over Apollo was similar. I don't quite remember it, but I feel like it was a very similar victory. Samurai pinned up like a triangle after failing to self-right properly, and Creo takes it to the bank. 3-0 for them, 0-3 for Samurai. I still think they haven't gotten a single... No, they did get some attacks in against Panic Attack. Let's give them credit there. But it hasn't looked good, and I think their tournament hopes are probably done with this loss. I can't see them coming back at 1-3. I simply cannot. I just don't think there's going to be enough spaces in the top 32 for this machine. But with that, we still have a bunch of fights to go this episode and a bunch more results. So, let's get on with it. Here we are, 2 low-tier machines. One of them sits at 2-0. Trident. 2 victories under their belt so far. 2 out of the arenas. 1 on Suffocate, the other in a highlighted fight over Red Bull. They sit in a very strong position at the moment, and a win here would be fantastic. Team Roomba Wars have to be loving Trident at the moment. 2-0. If it goes 3-0, its last match is against another Roomba Wars machine in green screen. It's going to be fantastic. It really is. These are some fantastic victories that they're getting. A win here might be enough to guarantee playoffs. It probably is. After that, it would just be a seeding battle. But they do have to get past Shuriken first. Shuriken got outdriven and outclassed by Blue Machine in their opening match, but the Veteran Machine did bounce back in their second fight. I honestly do not remember who they faced in that, though, so moving on. Yeah, who was it? Was it Lightning Strikes? It might have been Lightning Strikes. I don't think it was, though. Oh, and I can remember. I'm just going to be honest, I don't have any clue who they faced in their second match. But they won it, so that's what really matters. And now we move on, because now we are here at this match. And it's time for it to begin. 3, 2, 1, activate. I'm looking for 3-0, trying to keep the undefeated season alive, but Shuriken bashes them away. Huge hits
from Shuriken. They have the heaviest weapon in the competition. We said it before, we'll say it again. This bot is absolutely devastating, and there's nothing you can do to stop this machine. Unless you get under and you flip it over. Oh, like, Trident just has, there we go. I forgot English for a second there. But that is it. Trident, 3-0. Team Roomba Wars, only one of the 3 machines they entered qualified. But it was such an important qualification. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cease. Victory for Trident. 3-0, playoffs knocking at their door. So fantastic this machine has been all season, really. And another victory to add to their belt. All that's left is for them to take on Green Screen. Maybe Team Roomba Wars throws that one. Gets a 4-0 machine into the bracket. Wouldn't that be something? Trident looking fantastic for the playoffs. Shuriken not so much. 1-2. 2 losses. It might be too much to come back from. It really might be. That's all I'm saying. I feel like you need only 1 loss if you're a low-tier machine. And especially considering round 4, you have to take on a high-tier bot. That's not a very likely match to win. So getting 2 losses this early on is going to be tough for a lot of these machines. Even getting 1 loss is pretty tough. So all things considered, Shuriken's season might be done. But we don't know that quite yet. We've got a bunch more matches before that is decided. Let's get to one of them now. Here we are, next fight of the night. Abel takes on UFO 5. Both bots sit at 1-1. A win might be enough to guarantee him playoffs. UFO 5, their loss was a split decision against Extra Peppermint. Their win was a dominant showing against Generic, which was pretty shocking. Abel's loss was getting chucked out real fast against TR5 before getting a very dominant win over Wavelength, which was surprising to say the least. So, with those 2 things built in, going 2-1 for either of these bots might be enough to guarantee top 32. After that, it might just be a battle for higher seedings. That being said, we still need this fight to happen. Who's going to take it? 3, 2, 1, activate, and the UFO 5 6-wheel drive machine, of course, getting whacked up into the air, and that's the weapon knocked sideways. It's damaged. That's not good, because now you have no wedge, and you just kind of have to ram your face into Abel and hope he does that. Cease! And UFO 5, 22nd Uta. Their face. Look at this. Lighting is so bad you can barely tell, but it is absolutely bent. That's what was happening against Vicio back last season before it came off, but it doesn't come off. Instead, out of the arena goes Abel. UFO 5, 2-1. A win like that, and the win they got over Generic, their loss being a split decision, like, they're surely in the playoffs, right? I just don't see them not making it at this point. Abel, in the meantime, it's a disappointing loss. It's another very one-sided one to put alongside TR5, but they do have their strength of schedule. UFO 5 and TR5 are pretty much locked in already for playoffs at this point, and Wavelength definitely can still make it. So Abel can certainly be claiming a very tough strength of schedule. I mean, come on now. They faced 2 former champions and UFO 5. Like, that's not really an easy draw for your first ever time over in this tournament. And they've done decently, so you gotta give them credit. It might be enough for Abel, especially if they get their last win, but they do have to get that last win to really make that case stand out. UFO 5 now fighting for seeding in their last match, they are probably going to make the top 32. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the arena for another low-tier match. Saying this one's low-tier, though, it's kind of funny, because it's two unbeaten bots at the moment. Hulkbuster 2-0 after they gutted This Is a Serious Bot and obliterated Dual Welded. They take on Emerald, who got wins over some bots. I actually don't remember who they faced. I'm going to be honest. I think... no, I've got no clue. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember in the slightest. I feel like they faced Devil at some point, maybe. And maybe Vertigo, I think, are the two matches they had. But whatever. A win here puts whichever machine that pulls it off, in a pretty solid spot for playoffs. So, let's see who takes it. 3, 2, 1, activate. Ribcage and Bullseye have been in the arena for so long, and it's because neither has done anything for so long. Probably the two most useless house robots, question mark. Emerald really trying to get these grabs in, but not really working. We've talked about how devastating Hulkbusters look this season as opposed to previous ones. It's looked far deadlier than it has in the past. Trying to get a grab now. Emerald does, but they let it slip away. Oh, big hit from Hulkbuster right on the side there. Emerald really trying to get that lifter into play. That grappling device. And they just about have it. There it is. A huge grab. Parading Hulkbuster about, dropping them on the ground and getting whacked for it. Emerald putting up their lifter now, going face first with that wedge. They're doing it. They're going face first. They're getting a lift in as well, using it as a front hinge flipper instead of a grappler. And now getting in. This is a brilliant display of control from this Emerald machine. They do get whacked away in that encounter, though. And in that one, the Hulkbuster still is a devastating build, no matter how you try to attack it. And it's got so much experience lifted up into the air as well. This Hulkbuster bot not going to give up too easy. Getting pushed around, bullied even. Getting pushed up onto its side there. Really trying as Emerald this time around. And look at this, another grab! Another grab! Holding it up for the camera yet again. And trying yet again. They get it. And the suplex! The suplex, it comes through! Emerald getting some fantastic lifts in, shoving it into Ribcage, who brings down that devastating saw spinner. Wow, so deadly, so much damage done to Hulkbuster through that, I'm sure. Oh my goodness. And the suplex, it comes through again! We're approaching 30 seconds left in this match. I think Emerald is on top for me. Hulkbuster have gotten some nice shots, but they have not shown any control, really. And to me, that's going to be the killer. They need to show some control before this match ends. It's been very impressive. Oh, another solid hit, though, onto Emerald. But Emerald really using this tactic well, putting up the lifter and just using that really tough front wedge to deflect the spinner. It's very good tactics, very good strategy. Cease! We are done. Emerald and Hulkbuster, they go the full 3 minutes battling it out for 3-0 to stay undefeated. But only one of these green machines will be able to do so. Who will it be? Here we are back for the judge's decision. Good fight. 3 full minutes of very impressive showings. But one bot did have to pull off the win here. The winner, by a 6-3 decision, is Emerald! A sweep in control was what won it for them, really. They lost out the damage category, but it wasn't enough for Hulkbuster to take the win. Good showing from Emerald. They now sit at 3-0. Hulkbuster, they fall to 2-1. They can still recover. The way they've been looking is still very impressive. Those first two fights are really, really impressive wins, albeit strength of schedule on those two is a bit questionable as they're both 0-2 at the moment. Hulkbuster not out yet. Emerald, though, looking very good for the top 32. I suppose this is a moment to once again address the fact that all of the fights were decided before we started recording and all of that. This fight was chosen to be a main event because these are two very experienced, very powerful flipper machines. We've seen Tsunami put up some fantastic fights in the past against some very, very good machines, and it was expected that this would be a good match. We did not expect Tsunami to fall to 0-2. Neither did we really expect 2-0 out of Gravity. I forget who they even faced in their second fight, to be honest. I know they took a win over Calamity 5, but I don't remember their second match. Which is kind of tragic, I'm not going to lie. Tsunami, in the meantime, chucked out of the arena by a full-body spinner. That's got to be one of the most embarrassing ways to lose. But Conundrum Evo have looked pretty solid this season. In the meantime, so has Soichoku, of course, their other loss. So, a win here for Tsunami to keep their season alive, really. But a loss wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I think they could still make it at 1-3 as long as that win is dominant because of how tough their schedule's been and how they've put up some pretty decent fights. Gravity, in the meantime, a win here guarantees them top 32 for sure. 3-0, just way too good. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, activate. So Gravity, they are fighting for the tournaments here against the German machine. A win here is certainly going to be enough, but Tsunami fighting perhaps for their tournament lives. Oh, cease! And those lives perhaps over Gravity, the Uta flip. And they go through 3-0, top 32, guaranteed. Surely. Impressive victories over very solid machines. You can't really argue against the fact that this bot now, without question, in the top 32. With that said, Tsunami 0-3. I'll say it, I don't think they're out yet. They still have that strength of schedule claim. Two of the bots they faced undefeated. The other, Conundrum Evo, very well could be undefeated right now. Got a bit unlucky against the biggest cheese, I'll be honest. Gravity, a very strong machine. Looking fantastic heading into the playoffs. 3-0. I did not expect this out of this machine. They haven't had maybe the toughest of schedules, I guess, but I certainly expected worse out of them. I don't know what to say about that, really. But I did not expect them to be quite this dominant in their regular season campaign. Tsunami, in the meantime, unfortunate fall to 0-3. Like I said, though, they can certainly bounce back. Reflections on this episode, we saw, I think, 4 machines go 3-0, 2 low tier, 2 high tier, if I am remembering right. Trident, oh, maybe it's 3 low tier, 1 high tier? Nah. Something like that. Trident, Synthetic, those two hit 3-0 this episode. Of course, Gravity in tonight's main event hit 3-0. Emerald, with their win over Hulkbuster, hit 3-0. I'm missing one. I know there was a high tier machine that folded off, and I'm not remembering them, which is tragic. Creo, that's who it was. Creo, also 3-0. Those 5 machines, playoffs are very likely and or guaranteed. Creo and Gravity, they're going to be in the top 32, no question about it. Machines like Emerald, Titan, or Trident, I keep saying Titan, Trident, and Synthetic, maybe it could still be debated, maybe. But it's certainly looking good for these machines. So, next time, we're going to have another 7 fights for all of you viewers at home. More machines will be going to 3-0 or 0-3, and it's going to start looking more and more clear what the top 32's lineup will be. See you then. Good night.